Okay, so here's this picture. A lot of people are saying it looks like Ben Stiller. I know a lot of interesting stuff, but a lot of people are asking me, could this be Samuel or could this be Hiram? And Midnight Mormons, they were so convinced it was because of this picture. They thought, oh, this picture looks like, but this is not. I found no evidence that these are modern sketches. It's the style that's more modern. Someone's name is down there, but I don't think it's Sutcliffe Maudsley or David Rogers. A really great artist because they've really got Hiram's nose is a lot lower and they're trying to make him look older. Um, Hiram's, I think Hiram drew his eyebrows on. I think it's such light eyebrows according to some artwork. But yeah, there's no accounts of Joseph Smith Sr. I found no evidence that his picture, so if this was from life, then this would be from life. But it just isn't. I found nothing that is a life. I've searched for 5 years for a life drawing sketch, and it's the same artist. So there's nothing of, unfortunately. It's probably might be out there. Probably is something out there, but I just haven't found anything verified, so you can't analyze him. And then Hyrum Smith, I don't think it's him because the tip of his nose is a lot lower and his eyes are very, very deep set, very, very sunken in. And you see this on the death mask, like his eyes are very much. I mean, you got the shadows there, but if you zoom in, you can see this line. Like the artist did an excellent job. It's apparently an 1833 painting. Very, very deep set, and you can't really pick out eyebrows. I mean, I'm sure they're there, but it's not like Joseph's where you see eyebrow hairs coming around. You look here. So Joseph's, you can see those eyebrows. His right eyebrow. His left eyebrow, you're seeing a little bit of hair there, and then it just sort of, you don't know what's happening there. And some damage happened right there to that eyebrow, but yeah, the right side of his mouth sort of came up, and I see this line here. I see things that look like these scars, but there's a little bit more heavier on that side. It's just opposite with the picture, but the painting matches this lopsided, like the painting. Right side of his mouth. This is the right side of his mouth. His side, right side. His left goes down in the painting, but then there's a furrow in the brow. But in the man's picture, it's his right side of mouth that's lower, and the left side of his mouth is also sort of drooping, but he just doesn't have these unique features and things. And like Dr. Nell's hair, just noticed a step deformity. You see how this eye is a little lower than that when you look at the step deformity, and like they crushed his orbital bone, but it healed, according to Dr. Nell's hair in 1995. He's a maxillofacial surgeon with Dr. Van de Graaff, anatomy, physiology teacher, wrote books on anatomy and physiology, also doctor in Search of Joseph. They were quoted and published in there, but it's, it is their words. If it wasn't, they would have protested when it was published. So that is their words, their doctors, it's a publication. But Hiram, I don't think his nose, I don't think his nose is as low or as large or as wide as Hiram's. Even though, yeah, there's some damage there, but when you look at these paintings, it's quite a large nose. And I was sort of referencing, someone was asking, I'm like, just go ahead and go to my main page, go to the I know it's the last picture because I've been editing this a lot. The mobile version took me a few hours yesterday to fix it, and I know I've had way more views than ever, but everyone's looking at the mobile version. I was kind of freaking out last week because I just edited the desktop version. It's best you look at the desktop because you can, if you click on a picture, it goes to a page where the picture came from, and if it has anything underlined, it'll go to a new page, and you can find out all of the sources on the desktop. On the cell phone, I don't think it all works, and it looks different. My friend was saying it looked a lot different. I can't help a lot of that, and it's sort of, anytime I edit this page, it's like if you took, these elements, photo, title, paragraph, and put it in a jar and shook it up and just threw it out and just put it in a line without thinking. That's sort of what they did. So it took me a few hours yesterday fixing it again, mobile version, and then published it because it edited something there when I went to the mobile version. It said it were hiding 80 elements. I said, yeah, I threw it in. I forgot that I'd spent about 5 hours a month before because the mobile version missed all those elements. I didn't know there was a button to bring all the elements back. And either way, it was all scrambled. anyway. And so a lot of things were doubled, things were scrambled, and I had way more views than ever. But I know the mobile version wasn't okay, and I just was like in panic mode about it last week. And the video everyone's watching, I really appreciate it. I'm going to edit it and republish it because the video that has almost 2,000 views, I really appreciate that, guys. But I did take it down the day after because I was like, there's so many typos on here. But then the spirit told me to bring it back like a few weeks ago. And so, but it all of it is correct information and people are appreciating it. And I appreciate all the likes. It makes me feel good. I'm going to keep it up, but it's on my computer. I can just edit all the typos. But what's really hard is with iMovie when you're editing, when you're typing the words, the pictures about this size. It's about that percentage of the screen. You aren't getting to edit the words with like you would in Word, where you can read the words, like the words I'm editing. And sometimes when I type it, it gets tiny. It gets about 10 times smaller than that. Just all these weird things happen in iMovie. And it was very time consuming just to make the one. And I should have spent more time, but it was April. I think it was April 2020. I think I was very sick and a lot was going on. And I've been diagnosed with POTS. And I know I had the symptoms before COVID hit the world, but I think I just got worse. Having surgeries over the years, I've been through a lot physically, but I don't think I physically wasn't okay when I made that one video, but it still took me hours. I'm gonna fix it, edit it, republish it, keep the other one, but I have a fixed one out. So anyway. Sorry. I think her nose was very similar to Hyram's. I think she sort of took after. I think her nose looks more like Hyrum Smith. So this is little Lucy. And she's got the lighter eyebrows, so somehow she just sort of picked up genetically some more of these traits of Hyrum. Whereas, her nose is up a little bit higher. You can see more of her nostrils, but again, she's quite a bit older. That's Catherine, and then they've also got another sister. There's probably pictures out there of some of these people, and that's just the thing. It's a matter of finding them. So there's Sophronia. There's probably a picture of her somewhere, but I've never found one in the last 5 years. So I've looked, but this is the duplicate oil painting. And so that is what Joseph Smith III brings up first. And so I've explained this before. This is the 1910 letter. You can look at Scholars Archive. So it's William B. McCarl's article. He typed this out, and I have a link where you can read this, but it's part of the words, like that much of the words are cut off because it's a newspaper, and they probably put 50 newspapers in a book and opened it, and you can't see it because the words go to there. But the best way to read it is through his article. He must have just had a actual newspaper version from the 1910 anyway. He's telling Ramsey to go ahead and look at the duplicate oil painting in Iowa. Then he talks about the original oil painting. The artist who painted it also painted Hyrum. That would be David Rogers. So even in this new article, there's a lot of good. They're saying it was David Rogers. So pretty much all scholars say it was David Rogers. He says 1843. It was really 1842. Lucy and Foster think the same year, but he has a lot of doubt because it was 1844. It wasn't the same year. And then they're saying they're sustaining the characteristic likeness to my father by the daguerreotype in her possession, taken the same year, I think, by the artist Lucy and Foster. And so, and also see how he's saying the picture represents a man of curly hair. My father did not have curly hair. He does not like this picture that was published in the Salt Lake Tribune by Mr. Ramsey. So, and I've seen that painting. His hair doesn't look even remotely as curly as this alleged photo. So he didn't have curly hair. Joseph III's, my father's hair was not curly. It was not curly. But anyway, he's excited about the duplicate oil painting. So a commissioned painting, if he has a daguerreotype of his father, it's a duplicate. So he's based on David Rogers and the daguerreotype, and there are some pretty significant differences between this painting and the original, which would be the thing that Dr. Miles Harrod saw on the death mask, that the eye really looks about that much lower on the death mask, and you can see that. But you do not see that in this man's picture. It looks very, very level. I don't think someone broke his orbital bone, is my opinion as an artist. So, but if you look at the death mask, you can see this, his left eye is a lot lower, and then he's sort of, there's just so much difference between the eyebrow. There's a difference between this eye is just heavier, and these lines are coming down there. Whereas this, you're seeing those, the swoop. You see the swoop, you see the swoop in my picture, and there is that shape of this lip. And what you can see in my pictures is more following the bottom lip, but you do see the middle portion of his upper lip is creating that angle, that swoop down. I'm using super medical terms, right? So I don't think it was Samuel or Hiram, but just the similarities with my picture. Then you are seeing that different eyebrow. That left eyebrow is so much thinner, and that right eyebrow is so much thicker. And you can see that. You see the swoop. He's got the swoop, you guys. He's got these wrinkles that are falling into place, like they fall into place. You see how there's that wrinkle that just kind of goes boom, boom, boom. You have to zoom in. You see how it sort of comes up and down like that? If you want to point out wrinkles, I can point out like 10 wrinkles, but I'm not going to spend time doing that right now. But this one is a main one. The swoop. There is this line on the nose. Just going to skip. The eyebrows are just what astounded me and convinced me. But you see how I've sketched the nose, the nostrils, and all of these shadows are creating a 3D. Even how it just kind of gets lighter there, it just is showing there's a lot of depth and largeness to his nose. It's a large nose. But you see that line falls right into place, and it has that same curve, and the nostrils basically the same. So yeah, I don't think it's Samuel. I don't think it's Hiram. But as far as I know, I do think that if you look at Bertha, where was she born? LaSalle County. Her father took his had his work done. I've not been able to find. I've asked everyone that I can if there's a picture of Mads Madison, her father, who was Norwegian, and he just looks, the facial expression, his eyes, the nose, everything, I think looks very similar. More than anyone, very curly hair. You don't see that in the artwork of Hiram or Joseph. Hair that looks like this. You just don't. And you don't see receding hairline. You see that in the death mask. So people. Anyway, but I found records that he did go through the Nauvoo Temple in 1846. He could have met Lucian Foster in 1846 and had his picture taken. Could have. Very even lighting though, so it almost looks like someone who had a really good studio, maybe with a skylight, is what I'm thinking. And they could reflect and do all this stuff. But as far as my picture goes, there's very harsh side lighting, and if you, but yeah, I think he's from LaSalle, and so I'm just going to show you. If you scroll way far down, you'll find the link, but I'll just go there. So this is, as far as Newark, I was researching Newark. It's the first thing I found out, and so if you watch my videos, you can see me learning as I go. And so George Albert Smith goes to Newark, where my picture was printed, Kendall County, Illinois. I just, this is just interesting. It's just interesting. But the LaSalle branch, 46 members were there. I think Mads Madison was there, but no one has this picture. But it exists somewhere, and likely if someone had it, I wouldn't be able to put it in a video, which I would respect. I would very likely give it to the people that I know that are forensic scientists, and they very likely may not give me an analysis of this alleged picture or with that person, because this is getting so big and this is like MSN. They're probably not going to say much about this because I don't own it. They would maybe go to a larger news organization or something like that, or publication. I don't know. But I have seen people like them that have their education, academics, PhD, have spoken. Okay, well, someone I've worked with has spoken with the national news, but I'm not going to say who they are. But they've just sort of a quick, if it's not that interesting, if they're going to like write a paper on it, I think they could just say something. But it's just, I don't know what they would decide to do. Very likely, I would not be told. So this is just my analysis, but I know that they know about. I've told them about everything. Okay, guys, I've told them all about this, so I would love to be able to send them a picture of Mads Madison for comparison. Because if you have two photos to compare, it's almost like they can really tell if someone is someone. It's not just maybe 80%, maybe it's like you can tell from the ears and just know, like you can just know these things. So, but yeah, I don't. Either way, I'm convinced this is someone that I think went through the temple. I think this is someone who possibly met Joseph Smith, probably was a good guy, you know? And I think Daniel Larson would feel something, and especially your ancestor, you should feel something because it looks like your brothers and sisters to a little bit because you're descended from that person. You should feel something when you see that person's face, and it's neat to see these daguerreotypes because they're so clear. This is not a clear version of it, but yeah, it would be a neat and exciting thing, but I think it would be great for like especially the family if this is Mads Madison and if we could just have his picture, but no one has it that should have it. And so it's becoming a little bit secretive and like, I'm not gonna let you see it. Or we can't find it. It's just really strange. I mean, I've talked to several people. And so one person that responded, they're just like, I'm not holding my breath. I don't think I'm gonna find it. Okay. So it's just not online though. So that is what makes it hidden. So who those that are descended. So I'm sure Daniel Larson has it. And yeah, so a real forensic scientist with like a PhD, academic. I mean, there are levels of people that can do that. I'm an artist. I can pick out things, I can analyze things, but I'm not those people. So that's my opinion. I think he had joined the church. Bertha was born, and she might have been at this conference. So I've always wondered, it's just exciting for me to think that, like, oh, that's so cool. Like, I think it's cool that Mads Madison very likely was there. Because I was trying to understand all these cities, because Joseph III mentions these two areas, and I understand why. Of course, he knows that area because his wife is from there. So, second wife. But he talks about all these Norwegian. He knows that because his second wife was 100% Norwegian, and a lot of them were in Kendall County. So this is not all of these are Kendall County, but these are the surrounding areas that it's quite a ways away from Nauvoo, but it's still Illinois. And yeah, it was George Albert Smith in October 1860. Joseph Smith III mentions the area. This is me trying to see if Joseph Smith III was in Newark, is the point of that. Initially, if you go to Providence, I go into all that, but side lighting, it looks very even lighting in that guy's picture, but in my picture and these pictures by the Woodruffs, Phoebe and Wilford, it's explained by seeing all this light right there, and that's super light, and there's a table, and how the light is hitting her right there. I think there's a lamp right there. And maybe there's a window and other forms of light too. I don't think it's just this lamp, but that explains that harsh side lighting. And then he's got Cannon using more even, except he's behind Grandpa there, but and just examples of Cannon. So those were the two. It was Lucian Foster and Cannon that was in Massachusetts that members of the church had pictures taken from. So anyway, so these are just my artistic opinions. I'm not even an FBI sketch artist, but maybe could be. I'd researched whether I could do that, and I've thought about it before. So, but There are people that just have more education than that I know. And I know I've sent them this and I know they're analyzing it. Again, they aren't necessarily going to tell me the result. And then if I find Mads Madison, very likely it would be permissions to not put it on YouTube or my website. It'd probably go to those people and then they probably wouldn't even tell me the result. It'd go to someone or somewhere else. So that's just sort of where that's at. If I do find Madison's picture, I very likely couldn't make a video. But so far, the people I've contacted don't have it, don't want me to have it. Maybe I know like some family members are very, very nice. Direct descendants have been really nice, and I know that they just don't have it. But there are people that, anyway. I won't say anymore, just no one. So far, everyone's like, I don't have a picture of Mads Madison. It's not online. I just really think he looks very, very similar. I think the eyes look extremely similar to Bertha Madison, who Daniel Larson and Locke are both descended through her, the second wife of Joseph Smith III. He had been a widower twice, but just the eyebrows follow the shape of the eyelid. Like this, just no way would anyone describe these as thick eyebrows or straight eyebrows. And it was several people that said thick eyebrows. And some of these quotes came from, In Search of Joseph. You can just look at the artwork, the main page. And I think I'll just keep creating a few more pages because this first page is very long, but I just spent several hours working on the mobile version. It's right here. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy. And I upped the contrast so you can't even see the right eyebrow. So I think I'll cut it in half. I did that so you can see his left eyebrow. Because when you up the contrast, you can see his left eyebrow comes up, his left eyebrow comes up. Like it doesn't even remotely come down, but you do see it coming down on his right eyebrow, and you do see that there. Okay. Anyway, have a good day.